Hey y'all, it's Nas here, and this is Vlogmas day whatever. I don't even remember. But yeah, let's get into today's video. So, fortunately or unfortunately, today's video is kind of going to slow it down, and we're going to just, have a chat. We are, 12 days into December, and so that means we are basically halfway through to Christmas. And I just wanted to take back a moment and reflect on my year personally, because next week is my birthday, and so I kind of always have this week of fasting and week of reflecting on how the year went and how my life has changed over the course of the year. I've done this pretty much every year that I can remember since college. I usually, like I said, fast from social media. I'll shut all my social media profiles down. I will shut my Facebook down, shut my Instagram down. I was not really on any all of the other ones. My Twitter down, and just kind of reflect on the year that I have. So I usually do it for a week. But this year I want to do something a little different and just kind of reflect in the vlog format. I'm talking to my phone, so this is kind of awkward as I talk to myself, it feels like, but I know this year has been pretty interesting in growth for me. I became a solo homeowner in the beginning of this year, and that's where we are in this space. And our channel I'll eventually give a house tour and show off what we've been working on for the last year. Trying to buy a house and furnish a house, by yourself, has been much more of a difficult task than I thought it was going to be. And so I'm taking my time with it. But this house was built from the ground. It is a townhome, so I'm attached to other people on the left and right of me. I'm smack dab in the middle of a block of homes, and we're in a beautiful section of New Jersey, and pretty much right by the river. My front yard is basically the Delaware River. So I have a beautiful water view, a great school district for my kids. And so I'm really thankful for that. And I am excited to be in this position at my age. But it wasn't obviously for those of you who've been avid watchers of this channel, this obviously wasn't necessarily what I thought my life was going to be at this point prior to 2 years ago or whatever. But the cards I've been dealt as of recent, this has been, I'm so thankful that I have this, and my kids have a nice house to grow up in for the foreseeable future until, we move into something different later down the line. It's a bit smaller than what we've been accustomed to for all of our lives, or for all of their lives, but it's still our home, and it's something that, I think is already starting to feel like home. It's taken a year, I'm not gonna lie, it's taken a year to feel like home, because watching it for a long time be just a big heap of dirt, and then a pile of holes in the ground, and then wood, and then next thing you know, it's got walls, and next thing you know, it's everything's all together. It's been a long process to get from that point to move-in day, and then once we moved in, it's in the middle of a pandemic, so buying things like furniture and stuff. I don't know if you guys ever tried to buy furniture during the pandemic, but it took months for some things just to get here. Like, we literally were sitting on the floor for, I would say, almost a month before our couch even got here, and this stuff was ordered if it wasn't a pandemic, the stuff was ordered so it would be here relatively the same day we moved in. But it took almost a month for major furniture to get in. And then just adding your own little personal touches to a house is not as easy as it sounds, especially when I have a style that I like, but this is also my kids' home, you know? So it's trying to not make it so much about what I like and also making sure it has fun elements that represent them and that they are showcased with. I like a clean, modern house with clean lines and minimalist, especially new construction. Like people get new construction and then, you know, paint walls and hang up stuff and stuff like that. Like my mom, I'm about to put it out there. My mom's got a house and like you wouldn't even be able to tell it was necessarily a new construction house because she moved in that thing. Me, you know, I'm over here like, okay, 3 months in, I think it's time for a shelf. Another 3 months in, it's time for a rug. So it's been an interesting start to being a solo homeowner, and I am thankful and blessed to have that be our reality when I know some people don't have that. So I'm blessed and I'm thankful, and I'm just happy my kids can live here and have a nice, beautiful new home that they can call their own. Also in this year, it was interesting seeing how my family shifted during the pandemic into early this year. My family, we got hit pretty hard, I would say, with deaths, and I don't want to take this into a morbid track, but after a long stint of no major deaths in my family, we got like hit hard. It was like boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know, my grandmother, who was the matriarch of the family, dies, and then out of nowhere, my uncle dies, and then my children lost both of their grandparents on their mother's side, and it was just a lot. And then my grandmother's sister died, all in this like time frame, and you don't really process it until you sit down like right now and think about how much of the shift of the family dynamic has changed in a year. So where I was like the fourth oldest male in my family, I'm now the second oldest male in my family at 35 years old. 36 next week this time. And it's just strange because that changed me in how I want to carry myself with my family. My uncle who passed like out of nowhere, who was, I kind of like emulate myself off of a little bit. He was like the funny one in the family. And so he also was the one that kind of like loved the family stuff. Like whenever there was like a family reunion with family people like down in South Carolina we know nothing about, you know, we would probably go on because he was our representative for like, he's the one who's like, okay, yeah, we gotta go down. So with him passing, and then my oldest uncle who's still around and hanging on and doing great, you know, it just seemed like, dang, now who's gonna pick up that mantle to keep our family unit? Because our family, when I say my family, I mean like my immediate family, my extended family as far as like my mom, my brother, and my sister, and then my super extended family, which is my cousins and all that stuff. We were all very close. At one point, all of our family were living in the same development. In the earlier vlogs of Team Yancey, when we were in the big house, like y'all don't know, but my cousin had a townhouse in the same development down the block. And then my uncle, the one who passed, had a very, very big house in the same development down on the other side of the opposite. It's a huge 2-mile circle. And I'm like, we all lived in the same development at one point. So to go from there to having, like I said, 4+ deaths in our family, that kind of, you know, weighed a toll on me a little bit. It was very, very difficult to assume that new reality. My children won't ever get to know my uncle the way that I got to know him. My grandmother won't get to see my daughter grow up and get married and stuff like that. Now, of course, that probably was never going to be the case, but at the same time, in my mind, like, those are the people who, as a kid, that I was like thought was invincible. And you know, you realize that people do pass, and it's, you know, a part of life. But it just, like I said, our family literally went good 4 or 5, maybe plus more years of no like deaths. And so like no deaths that were in our immediate group. And so for us to go from that long stretch of even longer than 4 years to having basically 2 big ones, and then like I said, my children lost their maternal grandparents, both of them, mom and the dad, like within a few months apart from each other. And it makes me sad because like they won't get to have that side of them in that part of their family. They won't get to have that be a representative of who they are. Like they'll always have that side of their family, but having their pop and their G-mom not being able to come to their graduation or whenever they get married it sucks. But I'm thankful that both of them did get to have a relationship with them even at this young age. And hopefully Logan more so than Olivia will have some memories that will allow them to be able to remember their pop, their G-mom, my mom, which is my grandmother, their Uncle Junior, and the other, our Aunt Frances, who also passed. But yeah, so that was another thing. So basically going from being 4th in line, oldest male, to being the 2nd oldest male in my family at 35 kind of changed me. So now I'm trying to be the person that keeps our family, at least the cousins on my line, so my grandmother's grandchildren, keeping us in a place where we are always tight, because it's easy to kind of start separating once key people or key forces kind of are no longer there. It's easy to separate, and I felt some separation happening. So I was like, nah, let me bring us together, because I want our family to be dope like that. I enjoy our weird dynamic where we all lived in the same neighborhood. Like that was weird, but at the same time, that was who we were, and it didn't make us any difference. We didn't care about what anybody else thought. So yeah. Also this year, I'm starting to kind of have a pre-midlife crisis. I'm not going to say midlife crisis, because it's not a crisis. It's a good predicament to be in, if you ask me. But for me, it's a crisis. Whereas I'm not satisfied with my career choice anymore. If those of you don't know, I work with a nonprofit organization that works with at-risk youth in high school age groups, high school and middle school age groups in the city of Philadelphia. So I basically direct and manage these programs that, try to provide resources to support those students and families, and just to help them to prepare for life after graduation, and then even into their college or post-secondary life. I love the work that gets done. I don't know if I love what I do anymore, because when I first got started, I worked as what's called a program leader, and that's basically a person who is, this is for lack of a better phrase, who is at the entry level of this industry. And so you do like all of the work, all of the hard work, I should say, where you have to work directly with the students, and sometimes with the families, and sometimes with the administrators in schools. And if you know anything about working with schools, not everybody is there for the students, and I'm talking about teachers, educators, administrators. Not everybody is there for the students. Some people are there for political purposes. Some people are there because principals make 6 figures. So it's like, there's a lot of reasons to be in education, and it's not always about the students, unfortunately. But when I feel like in a program leader position, it humbles you to the point where it's like you are a paraprofessional, and people look at you as that, but the students respect you so much because you relate to them the most. And then you have the next level, like directors of the school or directors of the site or whatever. And then you have program directors, and you have directors who manage multi-sites, multi-programs. And that's why I manage a whole department for a nonprofit. And I like what I do, but I miss working directly with the kids. And unfortunately, or fortunate, depends on how you look at it, like the lifestyle that I live now, like that don't pay the bills anymore. So it's like where I am now, allows me to live in a nice, beautiful waterfront property in a new development with a new house that like it pays for all that. But at the same time, I sacrifice now not enjoying what I do. Not enjoying because not only do I have to, it's easy to try to work with students, but imagine taking that same thing and having to work with adults. People think that students think that when they graduate and you get into workforce, everybody's just professional, and that's just not the case. And so managing personalities and managing moods and managing attitudes and not showing your own personal attitudes or whatever, because you can't do that. Like when I get mad or frustrated, is because I have literally hit a boiling point, and my team or the people who work for me know that at this point, Onas is mad, he's probably not playing. Because I have to navigate and put out fires every single day. Every single day I wake up and 2 or 3 phone calls about, okay, well, this is happening, that is happening, this is happening. How do I fix it? And on the spot, I have to try to figure, okay, what's happening, what's going on, okay, this is what we should do, this is what we should do. And some days I'm like, I don't know, bro. Like, I really don't know. Or I don't. And I don't even pretend to try to have all the answers. But if I don't know something, I'm going to try to work with you until we figure it out. Or I'm going to just say, here's where we can go to try to find it. But I don't have the answers to that. But long story short, I'm at a crossroads now because I'm at the ceiling of my career. Once you get to be a director of operations, the next level is like executive director of a whole organization. And I'm not sure if that's what I want to be next. I don't know if I want to be an executive director of a nonprofit organization because I don't really care about the non-education side of it. And I don't really care about the director side of it that much anymore. Like, I do that now because when I'm good at it, and two, that's what pays the bills. But where the passion comes in is actually hands-on work with the kids, but unfortunately that doesn't pay the bills. So I'm torn. I'm thinking about going back to school and getting my final, but getting a third degree, either a PhD and some type of education, whether it's higher ed administration, higher ed in general, or something in the nonprofit world, or jumping into law, back into law. I had a law little run for a minute. I had 3 law classes, and I tell people all the time I had 3 law classes. I got A's in all of them, so I'm practically a lawyer. Not the case. I don't want to be a lawyer though, but at the same time, I'm ready for another significant increase in income. And so if I'm going to do a job where it's about the money more so than what my passion is, then I at least want to make a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? So I make really good money for what I do now, especially just being able to sustain, a lifestyle that I live where I like to buy things, and having a house and kids and sports and food and car and all that kind of stuff. But I also like to travel. I like to go places, and I also like to share with those who are close and important to me. Like if you ever go to a restaurant, go somewhere, I'm buying a drink or something. I'm buying rounds for the table, not to show off, because that is like my love language. It's sharing, and I guess that's the gifts thing, but I'm not giving gifts per se. It's just like I like to see people happy while I'm in that moment, because then when I leave, I'm ready to go. But I don't know. So I'm at a crossroads now where I feel I feel like I'm getting stale in my career, and I also feel like my productivity personally is starting to be just average, whereas like felt like I was a superstar when I first got here. There's a vlog actually of me getting this, now that I think about it, there's a vlog of me interviewing for this job where I am in a car right before and after the interview. I forget where it is, so go check out one of the vlogs where, I don't know, it was way early in the Team Yancey saga. And so now I am just crossed 7 years working here, and this is my longest tenure at any place. And it has great benefits. It has a great everything. There's no reason for me to not want to stay here for the long term, other than I am bored of what I do. So long story short, I'm at a crossroads where I'm ready to do something different, but what I mean different is I'm not starting anywhere lower. I'm starting here. I'm here, and I want to start either here or start higher and go to but in a different capacity. And I'm dead serious on that now. I used to joke with my team. I was like, I'm leaving this year, but most of them already knew. Like, no, I was just talking. But like, I'm dead set on it. It's just it's something's going to change, whether I go back to school and continue working, whether I stop working and go to school and figure out how to make all this work without necessarily having my current job, or whether I go into school, if I'm going in to be in upper education, or whether I'm going into law of some capacity. We'll see. My passion in life when I'm not working with students is I like making videos, vlogs and filming and stuff like that. I like producing. I actually, believe it or not, well, not believe it or not, I actually like writing scripts, writing stories. I started writing a book one point in my life, and then like an amateur, didn't have a hard drive backup version of it, and my computer crashed, and there goes that book. And so I had never picked it up. I, to this day, could probably rewrite that whole book because rewrite where I got up to, but I don't feel like it. I feel like it crashed because it wasn't meant to be. But who knows? I like all that stuff. So I'm going to, at some point, make a decision within 2022. I'm going to make a decision about what my next move is, whether it's school, whether it's sticking it out with this organization and school, or whatever it is. But I'm going to figure it out because I am at a place now where I'm getting antsy about, I don't know if it's antsy, but I'm getting a little anxiety about what the next move, getting a little with anxiety about what the next move is. Yeah, so that's pretty much that part. Another thing I wanted to touch on, which kind of started the beginning piece of this, is clearly if you've been a fan or a watcher or someone who's been supporting our family for a long time, clearly the dynamic has changed, and I think it's pretty obvious. I don't have to say too much about what the major elephant in the room is that's no longer a part of this family dynamic. And I said last year in last year's vlog, I kind of said it haphazardly or just kind of like in passing because I knew people were gonna ask, well, what's going on? That I would talk about it in the early phases of this year. So it was my sincerest effort to try to relaunch our channel in the beginning of this year. With the new house, it's gonna be like a whole to-do because the house actually was supposed to be finished at the same time as like this time last year during this, basically December 13th was our original settlement date, but that didn't happen. So December 13th is tomorrow if you're watching this on the day that I release it, tomorrow. And it was supposed to happen, but that didn't happen because there was some delays with processing paperwork and stuff like that. And so long story short, it was supposed to be a whole lot going on with the relaunch of this channel, and something where we was gonna be committed to doing some new cool stuff where it's just, you know, the three of us in the as the obviously the focus point. And I was going to spend some time in the beginning talking about what the shift was and why it happened. Obviously that didn't happen. Obviously things changed. Like I said, the house took a little bit longer to get here. When you look at the Christmas vlogs from last year, it literally was me, my two kids, and my mother living in a 2-bedroom apartment. Basically, I was living with my two kids in my mother's apartment because we both were getting houses built. It's funny. We both were getting houses built, and my house was delayed, and it was supposed to be by like basically a couple months, but it turned out being delayed by 6 months. And it was delayed due to COVID. So it was a reason why it was delayed. It wasn't necessarily like they just didn't build the house. So long story short, what ended up something being that was supposed to be like a month or two at the most, ended up being 6 months, and you know, vlogging and stuff like that in a 2-bedroom apartment where I slept on the couch pretty much every day, except for the weekends when the kids were with their mother. That's the time I got to sleep in the bedroom, and I would sleep on one of the bunk beds because that's just what we had at the time. So for basically almost a half a year, it's been it was just me living on the couch. And I didn't find that to be vlog worthy, or I didn't have the creative mind or the care to actually try to figure out how to make it look great for you guys. Because y'all already know when y'all watch these vlogs and when y'all watch any of these influencers on YouTube, most of the time they're not showing you truly everything. They're only showing you obviously what we want you to see, and there's no different with us. So when we come into the new year, it is my sincerest effort to relaunch this channel, but it'll be the end of the Team Yancey version of it, and we will focus on the new branding side of it, which will be obviously a dad and his 3 kids. So I did a little tiny stint called Fatherhood Chronicles back in the early like 2015 maybe. But it's gonna be that, but that'll be the main representation of what this channel is. So it'll be like Team Yancey Live presents the Fatherhood Chronicles. And that's how we're gonna go into the new year. It is my sincerest effort to relaunch the channel, and in the very early stages of the relaunch, sit down in a collaborative effort with Keisha to talk about what everybody wants to know who are avid fans or viewers of this channel want to know, and be able to talk about it and share our thoughts and our own commentary on how things have changed. But hopefully we'll be able to do that. But it is still my sincere effort to get the regular vlogging back to get the regular vlogging started in the new year. Because as I said, vlogging makes me happy. My son loves it. Olivia's starting to get a little personality, and we do so much that I think people would enjoy seeing, especially when the changing the narrative about Black fathers being in the picture. We're not. It's like I'm so in the picture that you can't ever say anything to me about, well, Black fathers don't exist. No, and then because I'll shut that down early. And it's not just me. There's a whole gaggle of us out there, like, for lack of a better, like, the narrative that Black men don't take care of the kids is lazy, because all I see are Black men doing much more paternal and maternal role than ever before. And it's time to kind of like stop passing that narrative off as if that's true, because that's lazy and uneducated. So hopefully when we relaunch in 2022 in the new year, this channel will be able to help with that narrative. But I don't need to prove a point to nobody. At the end of the day, you'll be able to see and know that that's just how we get down around these parts. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I wanted to do on here. I'm looking forward to new year, new me, psych. I'm looking forward to new beginnings. I am interested in not being a single dad for the rest of my life, so that's going to be a new adventure to go on as you guys follow me through that journey. With that, because I plan to share that piece too, and just seeing what life has in store as I start what I consider my pre-midlife crisis. And when I say crisis, it's just because that's what people say, but it's midlife adjustments. Basically, like, this is halftime, not for my life, and hopefully I'm living more longer than like 70 years old, but halftime for the long haul, like, and because we want to go long into this thing. But again, I thank you all for watching. You could have been anywhere on the internet, and you choosing to sit here and listen to me rap. If you listen to this whole thing, yo, do me a favor and put in the comments like made it all the way through, because that's dope. I don't even know if I would listen to myself talk, and I want to just recognize and just see who out there is rocking with me. And if you've been with the Team Yancey brand since like day one or early in our career, put day one in the comments too, so that way I can know who you are too. I want to start building a relationship with our viewers, the people who support our family, because to me that's important. So please comment if anything I said. If you have any questions about anything, please comment. But like I said, you could be anywhere on the internet, but you're choosing to be here with me in this moment, and I appreciate you so much for that. Do me a favor, Logan would say this, but he's not here right now. Hit that like button and subscribe button, and turn the notification bell on so that way you always know when we're uploading new videos. And with that being said, please have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will see you in the next vlog. Bye.